Hello and welcome to English Grammar and Literature World. Today I am going to discuss one word substitution based on SSC CGL previous year questions. So let's start. A trade that is prohibited by law. What is the right one word substitution? Look at the options. Option A, inept. Option B, illicit. Option C, incredible. Or option D, elusive. A trade that is prohibited by law, that is option B, illicit. Okay, so what is illicit? So illicit means forbidden by law, or you can say rules or custom. Okay, so what is the meaning of inept? So inept means not suitable or appropriate. Okay, that is inept. And incredible means unbelievable. Okay, and elusive, so elusive means deceptive, or you can say misleading. That's why inept, incredible and elusive are not the right answers. So the right answer is option B, that is illicit. Next, impossible to satisfy. That is option A, magnanimous, option B, insane, option C, insatiable, or option D, palatable. So look, impossible to satisfy, that is option C, insatiable. Okay, insatiable. So look at the other options. What is the meaning? Magnanimous means one kind of you can say generous. Okay, so magnanimous means generous, or you can say forgiving personalities, that is magnanimous. Insane, so insane means mentally ill. Okay, lunatic person, that is insane. So insane is not the right answer. And palatable, so palatable means pleasant to taste, or you can say pleasant to taste. So pleasant to taste, that is palatable. So palatable also not the right answer. So right answer is option C, that is insatiable. Next, a story that expresses ideas through symbols. That is, I think you are able to answer it. So look at the options. Option A, armory. Option B, amatory. Option C, aleatory, or option D, allegory. So look, a story that expresses ideas through symbols, that is option D, allegory. So it is a figure of speech. Okay, so allegory. So look at the other options. Armory is a place where weapons are stored. Okay, that's why armory is the not right answer. And amatory, so amatory relates to love or sexual desire. Okay, so amatory relates to sexual desires. That's why amatory is not the right answer. And aleatory, so aleatory means dependent, or you can say change or luck. Okay, that is aleatory. So aleatory is not the right answer. Next, a person without whom job or property, that is called option A, derelict, option B, narcissist, option C, iconoclast, or option D, impregnable. A person without whom job or property, that is derelict. So what is the meaning of derelict? So derelict refers to homeless or one kind of neglected person. Okay, that is derelict. Narcissist, so narcissist means self-centered. The narcissist means self-centered. Okay, self-centered. And iconoclast, a person who is the destroyer of images. Okay, that is iconoclast. And impregnable, so impregnable means impossible to defeat or capture, that is impregnable. So impregnable, iconoclast and narcissist are not the right answers. So the right answer is option A, that is derelict. Next, fear of riding in a car. What is the right one word substitution? So look at the options. Option A, astrophobia, option B cacophobia, option C amaxophobia, or option D genophobia. So fear of riding in a car, that is option C amaxophobia. So amaxophobia is a fear of riding in vehicles. Okay, that is amaxophobia. So what is the meaning of astrophobia? So astrophobia is the fear of stars, or you can say celestial space. Okay, so fear of stars, that is astrophobia. And what is the meaning of cacophobia? So cacophobia is the fear of ugliness. Okay, so cacophobia means fear of ugliness. Okay, that is cacophobia. And what is the meaning of genophobia? So genophobia is the fear of sexual intercourse. Okay, that is genophobia. That's why option D, B and A are inappropriate. So the right answer is option C, that is amaxophobia. Next, a short interesting story about a real person or event. That is option A sketch, option B narrative, option C anecdote, or option D poem. So the right answer is option C, that is anecdote. So what is the meaning of anecdote? So anecdote is a short interesting story about a real person or any event. That is anecdote. Sketch, look at the option A, sketch related to the drawing. Okay, so that's why it is not the right answer. And narrative is a one kind of storytelling. Okay, it is a story, S-T-O-R-Y, stories telling, story, T-E-L-L-I-N-G. Okay, storytelling. That's why option B is not the right answer. And poem, you know what is the right answer, so that's why poem is not the right answer. Next, an order of law requiring people to remain indoors. That is restriction, limit, check-in, or curfew. Obviously, option D is the right answer. That is curfew. So look at the other options. Actually, restriction is a general limitation. Okay, not broadly used. It is a general limitation. It is a general limitation, that is restriction. And limit, so limit refers to a boundary or the restriction. Okay, and check-in, so it is a phrase, check-in, and is reporting one's arrival. So check-in is totally related to another thing. It is inappropriate, so we have to eliminate check-in. So that's why option D is the right answer. That is curfew. Next, she is proficient in speaking many languages. What is the right one-word substitution? Option A heterolinguistic, option B bilingual, option C multilingual, or option D monolithic. So look, a person who is proficient in speaking many language. So many means multi languages. That's why option C, multilingual, is the right answer. Okay. So look at the other options. Option A heterolinguistic. So heterolinguistic is not commonly used. Okay, that's why we have to eliminate. Bilingual means someone who is proficient in speaking only two language. Only two language. That is bilingual. So bilingual is not the right answer. And monolithic. So monolithic is not related to language. Okay, that's why we have to eliminate option D. So option C multilingual. Option C multilingual is the right answer. Next, a person who entertains people by doing difficult feats. Okay, that is option A comedian, option B acrobat, option C cosmonaut, or option D astronaut. So look, a person who entertains people by doing difficult feats, that is option B, acrobat. So who is acrobat actually? So acrobat perform gymnastic feats. Okay, especially in a circus. Especially in a circus, that is acrobat. And who is comedian? Comedian makes people laugh, that is comedian. So comedian is not the right answer. And cosmonaut and astronaut, they are related to the space. So who is astronaut? So astronaut, someone who travels in space. Okay, that is spaceships related. Astronaut is the not right answer. And cosmonaut is a Russian astronaut. Also C is not appropriate. So the right answer is option B, that is acrobat. Next, a person who rules with absolute power and authority, that is option A senator, option B sovereign, option C ruler, or option D dictator. So the right answer is option D, that is dictator. Okay, so one person's rules, that is a dictatorship. So what is the meaning of senator? So look, senator is a member in a legislative assembly, or you can say legislative body. Okay, commonly used in the American, that is senator. So senator is not the right answer. Sovereign means, so India is a sovereign country. That means India is free from others countries' influence. So we have our election policy, we have our own rules, regulation. That's why we are sovereign country. So sovereign is quite okay, but not perfect. That's why we have to eliminate option B also. And ruler is a very minor term. So ruler is not the right answer. So right answer is option D, that is dictator. Next, a person who eats so much, what is called? Option A glutton, option B misogynist, option C fatalist, or option D sycophant. So the right answer is a person who eats so much, that is a glutton. Glutton. Okay. And what is the meaning of misogynist? So it is related to the marriage. Someone who hates marriage, that is misogynist. Someone who hates marriage. Okay, that is misogynist. So what is the meaning fatalist? So look, fatalist came from the word fatal or fate. Fate means someone who believes in fate. Okay, that is fatalist. And sycophant flatters to gain favor. Okay, this is sycophant. So option D, C and B are not the right answers. So the right answer is option A, that is glutton. Next, so detailed examinations of something's complex, that is dialysis, synthesis, analysis, or symbiosis. So look, detailed examinations of something, that is obviously analysis. Okay, that is analysis. So look, dialysis is a medical term related to one kind of medical process for kidneys, that is dialysis. So that's why option A is not the right answer. Synthesis is a broad term, that's overall term. So synthesis is not the right answer. And symbiosis. So symbiosis is a mutual relationship between organisms. Okay, that is symbiosis. So option D also not the right answer. So the right answer is option C, that is analysis. Next, something that has the quality of being easily broken. So look, it is a very important, because these questions repeatedly used in CGL, MTS, etc. exams. So you have to remember this one. So what is the right one-word substitution? Option A brittle, option B damage, option C hard, or option D broken. So look, something that has the quality of being easily broken. Okay, that is obviously option A, brittle. Brittle means easily broken. Brittle. Damage is not the right answer actually. Hard is totally opposite thing. And broken is not the quality. That's why you have to eliminate option D also. Next, a person or entity that is unable to pay debts. What is the right one-word substitution? Option A, recluse. Option B, busted. Option C, insurgent. Or option D, insolvent. So look, a person or entity that is unable to pay debts, that is insolvent. Okay, insolvent means bankruptcy. Someone who is totally deulia. Okay, that is insolvent. And recluse avoids people and lives in solitude. So recluse is one kind of personality that a person avoids people who wants to live in solitude. Okay, that is recluse. So recluse is not the right answer. Busted is not the right answer, and insurgent is one kind of rebel. Okay, it's a one kind of rebel. So you heard the word rebellious or heard the insurgency, the Nakshal insurgency. Okay, this is a one kind of rebel or rebellious thing or rebellious procession. That's why we have to eliminate option C also. So the right answer is option D, that is insolvent. So here is the next one, the place where soldiers live. So it is also very important. Okay, very important. So what is the called where the soldiers are kept? Option A, unit. Option B, barracks. Option C, brigade. Or option 2, regiment. So look, a place where soldiers live, that is option B, barracks. I think you should have heard the name Barakpur, that is in West Bengal. Why the name Barakpur? Because here the soldiers are kept. That's why the name is Barakpur. And you know the history of Barakpur because in 1857, Mangal Pandey, who was the first soldier, made a rebellious procession against British Raj and he was hanged. Okay. So barracks actually place where soldiers are kept. That's why option B is the right answer. Unit is a very normal term. It is a very minor term. Unit is not the right answer. And brigade also not the right answer. Actually not the right answer. Okay. A regiment is a one kind of group of soldiers, or it is related. It suggests one kind of group. That's why regiment is not the right answer. Regiment is not actually place. Okay, brigade is not actually place where soldiers are kept. That's why we have to eliminate. Here is the 16th, constant efforts to achieve something. So what is the right answer? Let me know in comment. Thanks for watching.